Let's podcast. Alongside Joe Giglio, I'm Joe Ovies. We are not inside Eford Studios today. We always thank Empire Properties. We are actually at ACC Tipoff in Charlotte. We're back, Joe. I felt like we were just here for ACC kickoff. Basketball season is here.
It does feel like we're getting a little bit of a break from football, a welcomed break.
I'll be honest with you. I kind of need the basketball timeline cleanse, you know? Not gonna lie. I think people are really worked up about some things in football. You know, be happy we won. You know, state fans are still salty. Carolina fans, man, I mean, they're super mad, obviously. All sorts of things going on. So I felt like this really came at an appropriate time where people are excited about NC State basketball. Yeah. People are excited about UNC basketball. People are excited about Duke basketball. I like these vibes.
We need Copiers Plus to give us a bracket because we only get these teams once this year.
I know.
We get Duke and Carolina twice, which is cool, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's just a completely different feel. You see the 18-team logo on the wall behind Jim Phillips when he was talking before, and it's like, holy shit, there's 18 teams in the ACC.
And,
it's wild.
Can't all be conference games, Joe.
No, they can't. And then you look at it and you're like, it's almost like the pairings that jump to my brain are like, wait, Cal and Pitt are in the same conference? Like, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But just as we learned during the football kickoff event, you got to embrace where we are. And listen, I think the ACC last year was down, quite frankly, down pretty bad, if not for Duke. And then even Duke got caught in the Final Four when I would have just loved for them to have won it. Because in football, when the SEC has a bunch of okay teams and one championship team, it becomes, well, that's the best conference in the country because they had the national champion. And it's like, are you sure? Are you sure those are the rules? So I think the league has a nice new infusion this year, not only of coaching talent, but, you know, you look at North Carolina, you look at Louisville. I think both of those strong brands improved. I know Louisville had a good year last year, but
no, Louisville's going to get, by the time we actually start playing games, Louisville will be a team that will be discussed as a potential sleeper for a nice tournament run with what Pat Kelsey's been able to do there.
So that's good for the league. You know, there's nothing more depressing than walking in here and seeing a couple of Syracuse players who I certainly couldn't pick out of a lineup, seeing their coach. Like, Syracuse basketball is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And I understand sometimes the coach makes a program, but it's just kind of, it's slightly depressing as someone who grew up in the 80s and grew up in the tri-state area to think that what Syracuse basketball has become without Jim Boeheim.
Well, there's a larger conversation to be had about the ACC and the ACC that a lot of people grew up with, where the ACC is now. I was reading Eamon Brennan, who does his own newsletter now, and a lot of these old basketball guys that used to work at ESPN and CBS, they've got a new website called Basket Under Review.
It's not bad. It's
a pretty good name for a college basketball website. They do podcasts and stuff like that. And I kind of agreed with what Eamon said in regards to, guys, we don't need to be discussing the current state of the ACC. I mean, it is what it is now. It's not a provocative thing to say the ACC ain't what it used to be.
Right.
The question now is, how can you get the ACC back to what it used to be? And I think today and tomorrow on the men's side of things is a prime example of new blood. You talked about Pat Kelsey coming in and changing things around real quick for Louisville. That's what Will Wade is tasked with doing at NC State.
Ryan Odom, too, at Virginia.
Ryan Odom is supposed to be doing that. We don't know what the Jay Lucas experiment is going to be. And also at certain schools like UNC, it's after a couple of years, and we're going to talk to Hubert Davis on today's podcast, along with Seth Trimble and Henry Veesar. I think I got it right.
Yep.
Double check on that. There's also an expectation for them to kind of be back to what they used to be, get back to what the UNC standard is. So this is going to be a really interesting, it was time for those Hall of Fame coaches that had let things kind of atrophy at certain places to finally move on. Or guys that were young enough like Tony Bennett who didn't want to play this game, which is fine. I'm not faulting him.
Yeah.
It's simply saying, if you know you can't do this anymore, well, it's time to bring in somebody new that can. And that was ultimately the right decision. So it's going to be a really interesting year in basketball, and it's going to be a really interesting year locally.
We hope.
But as much as things change,
we are slightly depressed about what's transpired so far outside of Duke.
Yeah, there is that. I was looking at the DraftKings ACC regular season conference winner 2026. You mentioned Duke. Yeah, I get it. Duke is in that mode where they're reloading. They got the new freshman. In this case, you got the Boozer twins, more specifically Cam Boozer, right? You also have guys that have stuck around, like Isaiah Evans. What's their growth trajectory? Got a guy like Sar. Where does he step in? Duke clearly is the standard of the ACC right now. Odds-on favorite to win. Plus 165 on DraftKings right now. Louisville, as we mentioned, they're second at plus 200. North Carolina's plus 700. And look at NC State at plus 750 to win the regular season in the ACC. After that, you start getting into some wacky numbers. Does anybody want to take a flyer plus 25,000 on Stanford or Boston College?
I'm good on that front. Louisville went 18-2 in the league last year. Now I know they also have their own roster turnover, but
yeah,
honestly, I don't think it's going to be Duke. I really don't.
Who do you think it's going to be?
I would have to take a closer look at the schedules. I know they're like more evened out now. You're basically just playing everybody once. You play twice.
No, Duke is always going to be a Vegas favorite. I mean, I'm looking at to reach the Final Four, right? Here are your odds-on favorites. Purdue at plus 205, Houston at plus 235, Duke is plus 300, UConn's plus 360. That all sounds about right. To your point about Louisville, though, and how people have been feeling about them, they're at plus 475. Louisville's old coach, Rick Pitino over at St. John's, they're at plus 450 as well. And you got Kentucky at plus 475. But sometimes with Kentucky, I always feel like, well, it's Kentucky. So the money's always going to be on Kentucky.
St. John's is my pick to win the national championship this year.
Okay.
You mentioned the other teams there. That's where it went sideways last year for the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson and Louisville really flamed out in the NCAA tournament, and it left you with what? It really did leave you with Duke because Carolina won their first 4 game and then got stomped. And so now all of a sudden you're sitting here going, well, who's left? What are the options?
Yeah.
So I hope the league can avoid that type of scenario this year where you're like, well, who's left? What are the options? But the only way to do that, though, is with better coaches and more investment.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was pretty clear last year in all of our conversations with Kevin Keats about what the investment level was, not only at NC State, but most of the ACC not named Duke or Louisville.
Now I'm giving you those lines for conference winner, Final Four, all that kind of stuff. As always, those lines and odds are subject to change. I was looking at those on DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Yeah, we're talking college hoops, but the NFL never goes away. And right now you can get on DraftKings and have all sorts of fun, from first-time touchdown score to anytime TD props, live in-game betting. Look, every snap is loaded with opportunity. And here's the best part. You bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. So if your team's hitting pay dirt, it pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use that promo code OG25. That's OG25 to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crowd is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds is required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. All right, we're not wasting any time here today at ACC Tipoff. Sitting down with us right now on the Veesar Automotive Group microphone is Luke DeCock, columnist of the News and Observer. Luke, what up, man?
I'm still stunned from getting name checked so many times by the commissioner.
What, 3 or 4 times by Jim Phillips today?
It was a lot, man. I'm not used to that kind of pressure.
You guys are like best buds, texting all the time, clearly.
It's the Cubs. It's the Cubs.
Look, I try to keep from being the 3 old men at ACC events, because that's what we are now.
Yeah, we are.
We have
frankincense, myrrh, and free beer.
We have graduated to when you look around and go, damn, we are the old guys now, aren't we? And every tip-off, there seems to be some new thing. But lately, it's been one thing: money. All we ever talk about is money now. And the 3 of us can sit down and say, well, this makes sense. Well, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you put the best matchups on TV? The bobbleheads tell me it's the best matchups. Luke, best matchups.
Clemson is
Right.
a powerhouse.
Powerhouse. And yet, with basketball, they seem to not be doing that by giving us the best matchups. And they're trying to thread a needle here, man, with making NCAA tournament stuff. And sometimes I get mad at hearing Jim Phillips and others say, "Oh, we talked to Joe Lunardi." Don't talk to Joe Lunardi. Talk to us.
Yeah. Well, and that I said, we were sitting next to each other. I said this to you at the time. Like, I kind of tune out when people say experts like Lunardi and Palm. Like, these dudes, they've got a great grift. They've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
There are experts. Ken Pomeroy is an expert.
Give me Bart Torvik.
Bart Torvik will explain to you exactly why you have or haven't made the NCAA tournament in a way that is not all opinionated and false and built on false pretense. So
Patrick Stevens will do it for a PetSmart gift card.
I have said this for a long time to the ACC and to Danny Gavin and the NCAA folks.
Yeah.
If you really want to get this right, pay Patrick Stevens $1,000 to sit in the committee room from 6 to 7 o'clock on Selection Sunday and look at your bracket.
Yeah.
And in 30 seconds, he will tell you, you screwed this up, you got this team going here. Like, there are people who get this stuff inherently, and you are not talking to them.
I don't get it.
So, no offense to Lunardi and Palm. Obviously, they've made a career out of this. But they're not the people I would go to for advice on how to make the NCAA tournament. There are people out there doing much more modern, empirical work. So anyway, they've ended up with this.
And you know what they won't do? They won't pop on social media and shit on your league in the process.
Well, that's the other thing. Why would you go to somebody whose shtick is talking about how the ACC is terrible? But
makes no sense.
That's not my fault. I will say I think it's commendable that the ACC said we need to do a better job of getting teams into the NCAA tournament instead of just sort of saying we'll be fine, which is kind of the strategy for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I think it's not necessarily how I would have done it, and I think when you get down to it, if you're serious about making ACC basketball better in any way, shape, or form, you cannot get rid of the State at Carolina game that has been played every year since 1919, so State can play an extra game against Virginia, and Carolina can play an extra game against Syracuse.
Sense.
So what are we doing here? And look, I wrote that in May when this stuff came out. I'm going to write it again today. You can't save ACC basketball by removing the things that make ACC basketball. So there's got to be, yes, try some things, mess around with it. That's fine, but you can't go and dig deep into this where you can't. It's like open heart surgery. You got to be able to sew them back up in the end.
Should we infer from Jim Phillips' all-in comment that we are going to see some fully funded basketball teams?
Yeah.
Finally, when he said that the school, all 18 schools were all in on the revenue share.
Yeah, like get your act together. Yes. Here's the thing, and I think this is true. This kind of led in some ways to the Bill Belichick debacle, but certainly was a wake-up call for North Carolina when they saw Alabama come through Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
With like 98 analysts cutting film in the hallway. They asked for more bench seats than the Smith Center has.
Yeah.
And I think for everybody at every level of that athletic department, they were like, okay, this is the level. Like, we have one of the great basketball blue blood programs in the country. We feel like we invest in basketball as much as anyone. And you're like, this in the SEC is what an investment in basketball looks like. And it's why the SEC has gotten past us. Because Auburn and Alabama and Florida are investing at this level, and no ACC school is.
Yeah.
So I think there was a wake-up call there that we need to get on another level. I think that has spread throughout the league. I think that message is now coming from the top. So if we want to, Joe, a phrase that you will appreciate, Alabama-type recruits.
There we go.
I think what we're seeing is the ACC committing to Alabama-type basketball.
Yeah.
That kind of investment.
I think the other thing that Jim Phillips said, to getting back to like how do we solve the ACC? How do we improve? How do we actually improve the ACC?
Powerhouse.
He mentioned the new coaches.
Yeah.
They needed new coach. Like they need Odom and Will Wade to be whatever they're promised
Jay
to
Lucas.
be.
Jay Lucas has to hit too.
And Jay Lucas
got hit.
Here's the thing about Miami.
Ryan
right?
Odom's got to hit.
Like I'm big on this for the ACC right now. Let's just all be who the fuck we are. Okay?
Sure.
Like Carolina, you're not a football school.
Right.
I promise you're not a football school. But I really like Hubert's roster this year.
Yeah.
Like I really think they could be a nice basketball team this year.
Yeah, I hate that everybody's focused on the amount of money spent on the roster and just looking at it.
Yeah.
Is it a good roster?
I actually like their
When
roster.
is the last time?
But just to finish my point,
yeah.
Miami, you're I think you're the best team in college football right now. Let's just worry about football. Let's just pull this thing into the barn.
To your point, though, Miami made a slightly out-of-the-box hire in basketball.
They did.
They went and got the best young assistant out there, and they said, we're not going to go hire a Will Wade. We're not going to hire – we're going to go a little – and I think that's – if you're a Miami, if you're a Boston College, that's what you have to do. You got to find a niche. Now, if you're NC State, you need Will Wade.
Yeah.
You need the guy who is going to say it like it is, who is going to go out and do what it takes to win.
A perfect fit. This man's smitten.
Saying like it is, but
Dude,
I think
like,
we're all smitten.
We're all smitten.
Like, oh, you're saying it's like the old I think you should leave bit. Like, oh my God, you admit it. Like we're out here saying these things out loud. Okay, good.
Like Will Wade's every Will Wade press conference is I've been working on this for 7 months and he just tweeted it out. Like it's like every question you ask, he's like actually answering it.
Yeah.
Like, yes, we ought to have collective bargaining. I was like, like
All right.
Yes.
So a couple quick hits.
oh wait,
Yes.
let me just the point I was gonna make when I was cutting Joe off so rudely.
I mean,
When is the last time that we could legitimately say all three triangle teams have unquestionable top 25 talent levels?
you got to go back. You got to go back to the 80s.
no, Jules. Right?
Jules, yeah, I would say.
No,
because Carolina didn't have
Carolina was struggling then.
No, not with. So Carolina was
15.
15.
Gottman, because it was
15,
Gottman
yep.
with Trevor Lacey.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
Duke won the national championship, and Carolina was in the tournament with a young Marcus Page.
Yeah, and they went to LA and lost in
Yeah.
the Sweet 16 or Elite
Yeah.
8. Yes.
Yeah, and you gotta
So
remember
15,
when-
so a decade. It's been a decade.
It's been 10
Yeah.
years.
And
And,
when-
that was the first time since Valvano.
And that was the
Yeah.
year that Friedlander too made NCAA tournament history by going 3 weekends with 3 different teams.
Yeah.
Because it was the first year the NCAA let you do that. So I went Jacksonville with Carolina, Syracuse. What was the guy's name? The Louisville kid.
Anton Gill.
Anton Gill.
Gill.
Syracuse with State, and then Duke in the Final Four. So all right.
all right. So
Ravenscroft legend.
some quick hit non-basketball
And
things
sorry.
before we say goodbye that are very much in your wheelhouse. Let's actually start with the Canes.
Okay. Start with the Canes.
I did not have President Doug Warf resigning from his position the week of opening night on my bingo card for the season, but here we are. As I said on social media, I'll say it on the podcast, there's a lot I can infer for the resignation just from our relationship with Doug Warf and our conversations on record with Doug Warf, that it seems like how Dundon wants to do things might not align with some people, or maybe it burns people out. And that's kind of where we're at.
I think more the latter. I think people are getting caught up on the timing. Like, oh, he's leaving the week of the opener. It's some great scandal or whatever. I don't think the timing is material here. We may find out that this just happens to be when he got another job. This is not a decision that was, obviously it's been in the works for a while. The fact that there were quotes from Dundon and Warf in the release certainly indicates that this is an amicable parting.
And it looks like it was about a week or two build up to this point.
What I would say is when you look at the Hurricanes since Dundon bought the team, Don Waddell, Paul Krapelka, Rick Dudley, John Forsland, Chuck Caton, Mike Foreman,
Dan LaTarraca.
Dan LaTarraca. I mean, there are a lot of people
Brian Tatum.
Brian Tatum, who either Ron Francis. Oh, that was a little different. But there are a lot of people who have chosen to work other places.
Yeah.
And I just think that the style that has bought Dundon a lot of success in business, unquestionably, made him a billionaire, is that very hands-on, involved. And I think some people, like Ron Francis, could not deal with it.
No.
He could not be a general manager who did not have final say.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily, I think, like necessarily getting overruled. It's just you have to be, to work for the Hurricanes, and the Trailblazers are going to find this out, you kind of have to be on call 24/7.
Yeah.
And that wears you out. It does. And it wears you down. So some people, like I think, Brian Fork has managed it well so far as CEO. But who knows? We may find out in 6 months that he's going back to politics. It's a style that works for Dundon. There's no question about it. But I think some people, that just burn out.
I think Tom told us everything when he said, I don't drink, I don't gamble. So everyone's got a vice, Luke. The man's vice is running the hockey, is being involved in the ways that he is with his hockey team. Yeah. And to your point, the way he's going to be involved with his basketball team.
Yeah, and maybe a baseball team.
You know what? It's his money. It's his say.
Yeah.
And
he's been successful.
And he has been successful here.
And there are people who have thrived working for him.
Yes.
So, we're talking about the people who have left, but there are others who have met the pace and been fine and continue to. So I think where people are kind of reading too much into this, both in the sense of Warf's like the why and the timing. I just think it's a guy who just kind of had been working under one sort of regime and just needed a change.
Finally, we come to find out that the Inside Carolina was the first to report it. In talking with you, and I know Murph was mentioning this as well, you guys were at the Clemson game, and you noticed the Hulu guys were not there, right?
Yeah, no Hulu crew in the press box before the game picking up photo vests or in the press conference.
And come to find out that the Hulu doc is not going forward. Now, my content brain says, well, if Hulu had final say on this, well, this sounds like a much more interesting documentary. You go in thinking you're going to be covering this NFL multi-Super Bowl winners' first foray into college, will follow along, and now it's gone so badly that they don't want you there anymore, and that becomes its own topic in and of itself. That sounds like great content to me, but it doesn't sound like that was the case. This is a production company issue that Hulu entered in with. I mean, were those contracts even signed?
I mean, I haven't seen them. They've certainly been FOIA'd. I mean, my guess is at some point, given the difficulties with the original documentary and all of that the Jordan Hudson, Bill Belichick production company had either final cut or some sort of veto power on this. And so they pulled the plug because they didn't want what you just described. Which, why would you? I did a 30-minute.
You mean a documentary with an honest look of what's going on? That's my problem with sports documentaries as of late.
But all of them, not all of them. So many of them now are almost curated by their subjects.
Pretty much, yeah.
And this, I think, was
Urban
supposed
Meyer.
to be. Yeah, exactly. This, I think, was supposed to be that. This was going to be the soft focus look at Bill Belichick's new life as a college football coach. And obviously, I can tell you from the 30-minute sit-down interview that I did with them before the Clemson game, a couple weeks ago, it was actually before the UCF game, that the tone had already shifted at that point. Because the questions that I was being asked were trying to contextualize the TCU game and what a rank stinking disaster that was.
Damn.
And also to lead up to what happens if they lose to UCF and what happens if they lose to UCF and now have to play Clemson. Yeah. So that was sort of the cadence of things at that time. I can imagine Bill's people seeing a rough cut of the first episode and threatening to burn the entire building down. So there is a vault somewhere that is going to have, like the Prince documentary, like the Kaepernick documentary, there's going to be a vault of Bill Belichick, Jordan Hudson footage somewhere that we will never see again.
We were talking about this earlier, about all these documentaries that actually look at their subjects with an objective, let's tell the whole thing story, and you notice they never see the light of day, which is kind of funny like that.
And look, there was money spent on this. Like they had a studio and offices set up in a co-working space. Like this, they were traveling. Like there was money put into this. And my guess is if we ever see the contract, there will be some sort of liquidated damages involved for everybody, but my suspicion is, and without knowing the exact power structure, that was the Bill side that was kind of like, we're not doing this.
At what point did they just wake up over there and say, what must be done eventually must be done immediately?
What's that buyout gonna be?
Seriously. I'm being serious right now.
No, we know. Yeah,
I'm not dumping on them. I'm saying, I think to your point, we talked about this earlier in the week. I've always said I am okay with the Belichick concept if it allowed you to push your program forward into the future. And you can take that money and now and say, look at our investment. This is what we're doing. We're serious about college football.
Setting them back.
But now
You have
it's
the
like
second worst team in program history.
Yeah. It's trending that way, right?
No, it is right
Oh, it
now.
absolutely is.
Through 5 games, it is the second worst team, the only worst team in Carolina history. This is using Football References, rough.
So we got to
Is
go back to Mac Brown's first team. Mac Brown 1.0, year one.
1989, 1 in 10, whatever it was.
Well, Luke, just give it time. You saw how it wound up.
Remember when Mac came from Tulane promising the 28th NFL team? He
How
had
times
70
change.
transfers, and next year they're going to bring in 40 freshmen.
40 freshmen.
I will say this, if we're going back to 89, Manny Diaz has the opportunity to do the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Sit on the ball at 41-0
Yeah.
and take the picture with the scoreboard.
He won't do it.
No, I know.
He
but
would do it to NC State,
I've
but
already,
he wouldn't do it to Carolina.
I've already threatened to come into the press conference and scream if that opportunity. Anyway, I think we're headed for Joe. I think you're right. If you are a prior, if you are someone in that board of trustees, there is a point where you have a fiduciary responsibility to say we have to pull the whatever it costs. We're going to light another giant pile of money on fire to stop this because it's. But I do think
they've got a lot of lawyers, Luke.
They do.
That's all I'm saying.
liquidated damages.
That's what I'm saying.
Bubba's pretty good at getting out of those things,
Hey.
right?
Yeah.
But
But
they can find
will
those
say this.
loopholes.
The loophole is there, right? Health scare.
Oh, if we thought people lost their minds with the Mike Krzyzewski back.
I mean,
Ooh, buddy.
little AFib, got to sit out. Interim coach Freddie Kitchens for the second year in a row.
Did you send the producers our YouTube channel or not?
I did, actually, yeah.
Damn it.
You guys were so close.
So close to showing up on the Hulu doc.
Oh.
Giglio just kind of, drunk in a NC State parking lot, just what? Anyway,
This guy.
this guy, Luke DeCock,
All right,
columnist,
thanks,
Students
fellas.
Observer. We'll talk to you later, man.
Appreciate it.
Housekeeping is brought to you by Enovana. You can check them out online at enovana.com.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
Giglio will be at the local on Thursday. You and Chip Patterson. You and Chip can work out some Giglio inception that apparently occurred on the Cover 3 podcast this week in relation to North Carolina and Clemson.
We'll work on it. Less said, probably the better.
Yeah, I just thought it was funny because Chip fell victim to something that happens to me from time to time too. It's like you're listening to a bunch of stuff, you're checking things out, it just kind of gets in your brain. You forgot how you got it. I mean, it is what it is. But you know what? Here's what I want to get inception-wise in your brain. Thursday, the local, starting at 4:30. You're going to be giving away tickets to the home opener.
Yes, Giglio approved seats in section 303.
Excellent.
2
excellent.
seats.
In the meantime, you can head on over to breakingtea.com/OG. We've got our merch there. We got our dead logos for a dead radio show collection over there. But while you're hanging out on the Breaking Tea website, click on the link that's in our summary, our YouTube description and our podcast description, and that'll take you to our landing page, obviously, but it's got the referral link when you click on it. And anything that you buy from the Carolina Hurricanes collection, you get a little something. It's just a little something. So you get to accomplish 2 things. You get to buy some new Cane stuff ahead of the season, great comfortable shirts and hoodies, and a little something goes our way. So go to breakingtea.com/OG. Again, that's breakingtea.com/OG. Big thanks to, by the way, this is one of those things where we get like different revenue streams and stuff like that. And we're inching we're getting closer and closer to Chris Brassfield Accounting from just like looking at all these things. Here's all the things that go into the buckets of money.
That's right.
Does this make sense? Well, for Chris, it will at brassfieldaccounting.com. He is a fractional CFO. Our business, it sounds somewhat complicated. Not really. We're not dealing with anything like government grants. You might be, though. And that's when things can go, you can get a little over your skis on that topic. Chris can handle it for you, though. In Homer, Alaska. Hit him up. brassfieldaccounting.com. Again, that's brassfieldaccounting.com. Every time I talk to Joe, I feel like there's some sort of like traffic or car related thing. Maybe you got a ticket. I don't know. I know who can handle it for you. Whitaker and Hamer. Maybe you're thinking about doing some ridiculous games like grocery cart archery and you need to sign liability waivers. I know who can cook up that paperwork for you. Whitaker and Hamer. Maybe you got to look at the legality of doing a live stream on Hillsborough Street for the Christmas parade.
Whoa.
I think we finally found a way.
Legality.
I don't know. A little gorilla stuff. I don't know.
Sir. There ain't no laws.
Ain't no laws on
when it comes to the broadcast of the Christmas parade. That's been proven.
No, I'm kidding. I'm fully aware of that. No, Hayes Permar, the Rialto, is like, no. I got one better than being in the parade with a sandwich board or a grocery cart. How about you call the parade?
We're in.
And I'm like, I'm in if Hayes is in.
We can do it.
If Hayes is going to do it with us, then I'm in.
We do need Hayes, though. Yes.
Yeah, because we need Hayes to like roll up to the people from the Christmas Carol and like give us like, you know, a 30-minute bio on the whole rundown and everything. So that would work out. Anyway, all these questions that you might have legality-wise, well, WH.lawyer. Whitaker and Hamer can help you out on that. You know what I've been seeing while we're walking around, Joe? And you're wearing one today. And I'm wearing one today. Just different styles. You got the Q-zip. Mm-hmm. I got the Shacket. It's Roback. Check them out. Roback.com. Use that promo code OG20 to save 20% off your order. Again, that's Roback.com. And, of course, our friends at Hometown Realty. They got offices all across North Carolina based in the G. Hit them up, myhtr.com. Again, that's myhtr.com. You might be driving around your neighborhood. You're seeing all these for sale signs. What's going on here? Like, is this the right time to sell? Is it the right time to buy? You might have those questions. They got the answers. But you got to start that conversation by hitting them up at myhtr.com. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group microphone at ACC Tipoff is head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. He is Hubert Davis. Thanks for sitting down. Speed dating once again. Another October of speed dating at ACC Tipoff.
I've been married for 27 years. Okay?
Hey, man, we only got some time. We got to move it quick. So let's start right out of the gate. Are you impressed more so now than you were when you first got Caleb Wilson? Because Joe and I are incredibly impressed with Caleb Wilson. And I think what finally went on for us was he was on camera saying, we got the belt. We're coming not just for Duke, State, Wake. And we're like, a young guy saying, let's go for it. And we're like, yes, we love this. I got to imagine that energy is great for you.
Yeah, he is a delight to be around and to coach. He has a charismatic personality. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he's extremely talented, but one of the many things that I love about him is like his devotion to team.
Okay.
Like he really loves being a part of a team. He wants us to be successful. He wants this program to be successful. He never talks about himself. His personality in the locker room, on the court, just lights up a room every time he gets there, and he's a wonderful teammate. And so when you have that in combination with how talented he is, it's pretty cool to coach, mm-hmm. and I'm so thankful that he's at Carolina.
Coach, I got a crazy idea.
Okay.
You ready? Your coach won 2 national championships.
Yeah.
Your former boss, Roy Williams, won 3 of them.
Yeah.
I think if Carolina were to use 2 bigs at the same time, that maybe it just might work with Henry and Caleb. I don't know, Coach. I don't know. This is crazy, right?
I have not used that at practice, but tomorrow I will use that lineup and see if it works.
I'm just dying. We were talking last week with
I
West
like that lineup.
Yeah. It's like, wait a second.
It works.
What does this look like? Well, this looks like the Tar Heels to me. You know, a traditional what you guys have done. I gotta believe. I saw you did some media stuff last week. You talked about how you got bigger this year.
Yeah,
and that obviously will help you with your offensive rebounding. But it just has to feel a little bit more normal over there at practice, seeing the size that you have. It looks more like a classic Carolina lineup. We do have size, but I would take it a step further. I think we also have positional size. Our guards are big.
Okay.
Jonathan Powell, 6'6", Luka, 6'6", Seth is a big guard, and so we've got positional size as well, and so it allows us the versatility to do a number of different things on both ends of the floor. You talked about rebounding. That's always been a staple of Carolina basketball. Got this from Coach Smith and Coach Guthridge and Coach Williams. It's the number one determining factor for outcome of a game. Yeah. Not just defensive rebounding, but getting to the offensive glass and we weren't good offensive glass last year, and so this puts us in a position to get back to what we've been good at over the years.
This is year 5, but in some ways, it feels like a restart. It feels like, I'm sure you felt this before, this feels like all of your group.
What do you mean?
There's no Baycott, there's no RJ, there's no Caleb.
There isn't.
You know what I mean? Like,
I
but this
talked
is
to
year
RJ
5.
yesterday. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, most coaches come in, it's like 1 year you have the players, and obviously you were instrumental in recruiting those guys to get here in the first place, but it just feels like a restart to me.
It's a clean slate almost. Is that's how I've been kind of interpreting it?
Yeah.
I think Caleb Wilson kind of highlights. He was on the Inside Carolina he was on with Jones and Adam, and he talked about
It is
no
different.
entitlement. We're not giving anything. We're hungry. We're this.
Yeah.
It almost seems like these guys are not connected to the quote unquote old stuff. So it's almost a fresh perspective, maybe a new look. How would you interpret that?
I would say both.
Okay.
You know, I think it is a new perspective. It's a team that is eternally motivated, not just from Caleb, but the entire team that has a burning desire to be really good and to do that together as a team. I also believe that at Carolina, a motivational piece has to be the past as well. The former players, the history of this program.
It's all up in the rafters.
It's all up in the rafters.
That's the standard.
It's a standard. And so I think definitely that has to be a piece of it.
Okay.
But you're right. It's, there's no Leaky, there's no Armando, there's no RJ.
You still got
you have Seth.
You got
You have
Seth.
It's year 4 for Seth.
And Seth is, I want him to be so celebrated this year.
Okay.
From the standpoint of, I hope, but I don't know how many accomplished players like Seth would stay at one institution for 4 years. He was a part of my first recruiting class. He's going to graduate here and run out of that tunnel on senior night at one institution.
It's a novel idea these days, right?
That's pretty amazing, and so I'm gonna enjoy it.
So Joe had mentioned 5 years. I'll hit you with my favorite genre of question. I want you to get into the DeLorean, the time machine. Jump back 5 years ago. You're stepping off the podium from your introductory press conference.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, it's me from 5 years later.
Yeah.
Here's some things that you might want to reconsider, or you didn't think about this when you took over this job. What would be the thing when you kind of look back over as you enter year 5, what that might be for you?
Well, that's an interesting question, because in the 5 years that I've been head coach, college athletics has flipped 180.
Yeah, it's not what you thought.
My first year was the first year of the transfer portal. We got Brady Manick without having to sit out a year.
Right. That worked out for you.
That worked out pretty well.
He's not bad.
The obviously the birth of NIL, the involvement of agents.
Yeah.
On the backside of a pandemic.
Yeah.
The 5th year extra COVID year, which doesn't exist anymore. There's been a lot of changes. If you 5 years ago would have said college basketball would look like this, I would have said no way. Not even imagined it.
Yeah.
That being said, with all the changes, it's still the same in a lot of ways. These are kids.
Yeah.
And you get a chance to impact their lives, not just on the court, but off of it. And it's something that I just love. And it's a real blessing and an honor to be in that position to be able to do it.
If I would have given you the results of the 4 years, would you have taken them on that day?
That's a great...
You might not know this. I spent a lot of time on this program defending you.
Same.
We did the same with Kevin last year, and I feel like I'm taking crazy pills sometimes. Final Four national championship, regular season ACC title. You've been to the tournament 3 times now. I get it. It's different at Carolina. There's a higher standard.
Yeah.
I really do get that, but I'm curious if I told you that the day you're hired, these are what the 4 years are going to look like.
Yeah.
You take it?
With all those things you just mentioned, all the changes in college basketball.
Obviously, I am proud with the things that this program has accomplished in the 4 years. It's been a lot.
It has.
But I would love, and where we want to get to is not just at that level where we've been, but to stay at that level. It's I think, and I talked to Kirsch about it, how would it look differently if it was the same record but all the same compared to
One's
national
consistency.
championship
Right.
year?
You're here, you're not here.
You're not in the
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah.
You're a number 1 seed and you
Right.
win the regular season title. Then you just barely make the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Right.
Compared to was same record, but you just went to the Sweet 16 every year.
Yeah.
We want
the
that. We
six
want that
essential.
level and that consistency, and that's something that we're striving for this year.
Coach, we appreciate the time as always. I told you speed dating. We're in and
Okay.
out. We appreciate it. We'll have a good season.
Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you.
Joining us on the Easter Automotive Group microphone at ACC Tipoff is owner of the Ben & Jerry's on Franklin Street. He's Seth Trimble. I don't know if you got time to play basketball now that you're running the ice cream
I
shop
do.
that
I
I went
do.
to when I was in college.
Yeah, no, sir. Still trapped in the gym, so don't worry.
Perfect. That's kind of neat, right? Like to be able to do something like that.
Absolutely.
So, but here's the thing. I don't mind Ben & Jerry's, but Ben & Jerry's doesn't pay my bills. We got 2 roosters.
That's fair.
You know,
We got to rep our brand.
We got to rep our
Yeah,
brand.
They're not in
corporate
Chapel Hill,
champions.
though, so they're technically
Oh, then
not
we
competing
good.
with you.
Yeah,
we're
we
good.
good.
Yeah,
Ain't
coexist.
No worries about it. We can coexist.
We can coexist.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
holding,
all right.
you're
There's no
holding down
worries
the
at all.
fort on
You were
Franklin
scaring
Street.
me. I thought
I
y'all
was like, whoa,
were
what's
down the
going on
road
here?
or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
no, we're good.
Here's the other thing I need to know. You know, players don't do what you do ananymore. You know that, right?
I
You're
do
not
know that.
supposed to stay at a school this long.
Not supposed to, no,
so
sir.
what happened? Why are you bucking the trend, man?
I've just never had the idea of running from something.
Yeah.
You know, when I entered the portal, obviously 2 years ago, it didn't sit right with me. It hurt. It wasn't something I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew what I was drawn back to. But I knew, there's light at the end of the road if I stay true to myself, if I fight through adversity, and if I, accept, failing. So it's.
So we talked to your coach, Hubert Davis, about this, that you are a connective tissue to what is the past, but also this seems like a fresh, clean slate of a team.
No
A
doubt.
reset.
Right, it's
Absolutely.
almost like a little bit of a reset.
Absolutely.
We're already big fans of Caleb Wilson and how he's already talking about the belt, and
Yeah, everybody.
we haven't earned anything. Like we're
Yep.
hungry. All this like that has to invigorate you too, right?
Absolutely. I love to see it. Just somebody so early, too, show such a love and appreciation for their teammates, for the jersey that they're putting on, for the university. It means everything to me. It means everything to Coach Davis. And, I just love to see it. I know I'm not alone in that area.
Have you at any point looked around for RJ or Caleb or Armando? Like at any point have you looked around and been like, now wait a second.
Armando didn't change his look completely and change his name and maybe try to suit up again. Did he?
No, he did
You
not.
know, okay.
He
You didn't
did not.
look around and be like, now how
He
am
did
I the
not.
only one left? What
And,
just happened?
they've been in the gym a few times.
they? Okay.
But, it's,
Comforting.
it's more comforting, yeah.
Your role changed as the year went along last year. I like to use the term bus driver. You were the bus driver for the last month of the season. How did that kind of evolve for you from maybe a defensive stopper type role to really the guy kind of driving the engine? I felt in the last month.
Yeah, I think just in the last year and even before that, I've just continued just to step in the position I feel, I belong in. I've evolved in the position I know I belong in, whether it's being a voice or, just being the guy, one of the guys on the court, just doing all I can. And it's really been as simple as that, just evolving and taking that next step that I know, is been overdue. So.
You guys have a little bit more size this year than you did last year.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like Kyan from Colorado State.
Absolutely.
I feel like he can maybe surprise people. I know he may not be your classic point guard,
Yeah.
but it feels like a guy who could probably help you guys this
No,
year.
I mean, Khan's going to be great for us. He's been really good all summer, being a floor general, creating for other guys, but then finding his own shot too and be creative in that way. I mean, it's been a joy to watch, and he's honestly, probably been my favorite player to play with this summer. So I'm super excited for it.
Are you okay if we mentioned Caleb embracing all of the in-state teams? Are you okay if all of you are good at the same time?
Why not?
Okay.
Why not? I'm
makes
not
everything
praying on
better.
nobody
I
else's
mean,
downfall. I'm not worried about
yeah.
them. But if they're good,
I know you'll only
well.
see most of them once this year,
Yeah,
and I know
yeah.
the league's changing, but
Yeah.
There's got to be part of that's kind of like, oh yeah, I still have a marker with the Wolves. I need to get one
No,
back
yeah,
from them.
no doubt.
And then the game in Charlotte against Duke last year
doubt.
that you guys kind of had, right?
Yeah.
Like, I got to get one from you too. You know
Without
what I mean?
a doubt, they're on the calendar. They're stamped.
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna make sure these new guys feel the same pain I felt last year with all these teams. So.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say
They learn quickly,
Oh,
right?
absolutely, absolutely.
I was gonna say they got to hear about it now, right?
Yeah, they already have.
Okay.
Trust me.
Okay. Well, and I guess the other thing too, you're gonna see Van Allen Lubin
Yeah.
in a different jersey.
Yep. Yes, sir.
It's kind of weird.
It's kind of weird, right? Or does it matter anymore?
Sad to say, but it's not even weird anymore.
Not
Okay,
weird.
that's what I'm saying. It's
not
not
even
weird,
weird
right?
anymore. I hate to see him in that jersey, but
Right.
Vince my guy. I'm rooting for him, but once we get on the court, we're gonna guard each other.
Have you explained that to Henry though? It's like you've got. All right, look, man. You're at Arizona. You're doing Real. I don't know if Hubert Davis kind of duped him into thinking, hey, you're gonna be playing with a Luka. By the way, He said, we got Luka on the team.
Yeah.
And Harry's like, wait, what?
Where did he go?
Where do you what?
Doncic?
I said a Luka. I didn't say which one.
Not which one.
So like the Duke one's easy to explain.
Right.
Yeah.
To somebody like that. The
Absolutely.
Duke one's easy to explain to somebody like Caleb.
Absolutely.
How do you explain the state one to the new guys?
You explain the state one?
The state one.
Oh. I mean, explain exactly
And
how
by the
it
way,
is.
we're a podcast. You can say whatever
Yeah,
you can say whatever you want. There's no FCC rules here.
You explain it exactly how it is. There's pride, there's ego, there's history,
Yeah.
and there's a university up the street that has tried to, has tried to be big brother to this university, but it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
And we want to keep that title. We want to keep that dominance that we've continued to have.
Yeah.
And
Because I'm just thinking
It's
we
only
don't
once
like 'em.
now, too.
So it's only once. So
I
this
know.
game,
I'm thinking Theo's podcast where he's just like, I hate those
Yep.
guys. I got Armando saying, I was pulling for Duke in that Elite
Nah,
Eight
I
game. I'm
mean-
like, what is happening?
I mean,
right
real
now?
life. I don't think there's one North Carolina player that likes state.
Yeah.
Obviously, besides Dontrez Styles and Van Allen.
Van Allen.
Other than that, there's not one.
At least with Dontrez, there was like one
Yeah,
stop
right, there was a school in between, at
there was
least.
like a stop in between
there
on
was
that
school-
one.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
and then
right.
meanwhile, you got Roy Williams sitting up there watching these games, and we know how Roy feels about state.
Absolutely.
So it's like-
absolutely.
Yeah.
So they're gonna catch on quick. They won't just hear it from me. They won't just hear it from Coach Davis.
Yeah.
They're gonna hear it from everybody. So
Gotcha.
Seth,
Hey,
we
Seth,
enjoyed it.
appreciate
We
that.
will go to your ice cream place too in Chapel Hill since
I appreciate
we're
that.
technically not compatible.
now, where's the ice cream shop of y'all?
We have one in Durham. Well, Two Roosters is one of our sponsors.
Roosters,
They got
okay.
5 spots.
Yeah.
One in
5.
Durham, 4 in Raleigh, and
Okay.
Cary.
If I'm ever in Raleigh, I mean
'em up.
Durham, I'll make the
let us
I'll
know.
make the stop.
We'll let you know, and Jared will
Give
definitely
y'all
take care
honest
of
rating. You know,
Yes.
where it compares to
Hey, we
Vegas
had
rates.
our own flavor once too.
Hey, we
so,
did.
you know.
Okay.
Yeah, we had,
Okay.
it was I hope you like peanut butter because the whole thing was.
I do
basically-
like peanut butter.
It was like all peanut butter.
I'm gonna have to get that a try.
All right, thanks, man. Take it
I
easy.
appreciate y'all.
All right, sitting down with us at ACC Tipoff on the Veesar Automotive Group microphone. Look, Henry, my last name is Ovies. You can imagine that it gets mispronounced a lot. His last name is Giglio. You can imagine that it gets mispronounced a lot. So, once and for all, because I think I've heard your last name pronounced on every podcast and every TV channel like 5 different ways.
Yeah.
For once and for all, Henry
Veesar.
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 Hey, you said it. First time you said it really good.
Veesar?
Yeah.
Perfect. See, there we go. See, Cubans, Estonians, it's like boom,
Come together.
come together with pronouncing some stuff, man. So, welcome to.
Just don't give me the Spanish way. Because I have gotten that one when I played there and they say besar and that does not cut it.
With their V's are like a B. Like
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're saying besado. They're sort of like, oh, it's Henry kissing. No, no.
Oh.
Hey. Oh, come on. You had to use that line in Spain, though, right? No.
So now use that one.
So actually, let's start there. So, basketball in this country, we're used to this very interesting cadence of you play high school, you play college, you go to the pros, things like that. International guys, completely different thing. So, Arizona here, all that stuff. What's been the biggest for you, the biggest difference or pro con about your experience so far and then landing at UNC? I mean, did you get closer to the microphone, by the way?
Can you repeat? What do you mean by that?
So,
I'll give him an easier one.
given to you.
Please tell me at Real you have a Luka Doncic story for us. Did you overlap at all?
No,
Did
sadly,
you ever
no.
come back and work out? You get a
No.
chance to see him?
I did not.
Okay.
I'm really sad about that. my first year roommate was like really close with him because he's also from Slovenia, and I was so jealous. Remember, I was like, he follows you, you talk to him. I was like, this is crazy. Because I never overlapped with him either, so I said I never got to meet him.
How old were you when you went and played for Real?
15.
15. So how tall were you?
I was about 6'9", I think.
Oh, you were.
Okay.
So at a young age, like Joe was trying to say, like most kids here, we go to high school.
Yeah.
Or we go to some like prep academy, whatever.
You're playing against grown men at
But
times,
They
right?
figured out who
Okay.
you were at 15 years old and said, nah, you're going to go play for this developmental academy. That had to be a very different experience for you leaving Estonia, going to Spain.
Oh, it was a big adjustment. I don't think any 15-year-olds is ready to
Yeah.
leave their home, say bye to their parents, and go live somewhere else. That was definitely very difficult, but they have great support stuff over there. Just they have everybody who you need, like for academics, for the schooling, for just to talk to the people. They have really nice bosses and everybody who's like who you talk to on a daily basis. The coaches were super helpful. It's especially I was lucky. I was pretty good at speaking English when I got there, but I had to pick up Spanish pretty quickly because the coaches did not speak it. So that was definitely a difficult part and adjustment.
Then there's the whole napping in the middle of the day thing.
That's great.
How about you're in
I'm a
college?
napper.
I was
gonna say Joe might need to move over to Spain. When I went and visited family in Spain, that was one of the weirder things that I ever experienced. I'm like, wait, everything's just shut down now?
Yeah. If you're in a smaller city, there might be a period for being like 2 to 5, you can't get food.
Right. It's the strangest thing. That would never happen on a college campus. You can nap on a college campus, no problems, but there's always food available.
Yeah.
That's very, very key.
So your transition from Real to Arizona, Tommy Lloyd, the coach at Arizona, is known for, being able to recruit over in Europe. So I'm sure there was a pretty good transition there for you. What's it been like now going from Arizona to UNC?
So far, it's been pretty easy. I think the coaches, everybody, make it really easy to feel welcome. It's all great people. They introduce you to their families and everybody. You get to hang around all these great people. Just having that around you makes it really easy to change to a new place. They're making the transition very easy for you because you feel just like you're supposed to be there, kind of in a way that way.
Being at Real and being from Estonia, did you know more about Luka Doncic than Michael Jordan?
It's close.
See, we're
But-
getting into this generation now.
This is what I'm curious. That's a very good point. Very
But
curious.
now that you're at Carolina, obviously, you figured a few things out with the shoes and
I-
everything else, right?
I never. No, I think Jordan is one of those names that no matter where you're from, as long as you picked up a basketball in your life, you know who he is and everything about him.
Okay. Now, I guess the other question, too, is we can talk about Jordan, but UNC gear is also pretty international as well. So, I got to imagine that you're seeing a 23 Jordan jersey. I always hear a story. Somebody goes to Italy, they go to Spain. It doesn't matter where they go. They're going to see somebody wearing a 23 Jordan jersey of some sort, Carolina Bulls or something like that. Do you see that growing up?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
A Bull jersey from Jordan, you definitely saw that everywhere,
Yeah.
no matter where you are at.
That made sense. And now you get to see him all the time at UNC in terms of it's everywhere all the time.
It's
right?
everywhere where you look.
Yeah.
And it's great to be around and be accommodated by that.
Yeah.
I get we're in an NIL era, and I get there's money involved in your decision, but to come to UNC, and really, they were missing a post-scoring presence last year. How much of that was a factor in your decision, and how much of it was like, hey, here's a real opportunity for me to be showcased, because maybe you didn't get all that much of a chance to be the focal point in the post at Arizona?
Yeah. No, that was the biggest part because I felt like I needed to leave to be really one of the main guys on the team and just see my part. So coming here, talking to the coaches and everybody, seeing their vision of me and the way they wanted me to play. And I have seen that in practice too now. Just they want to play through me and want to play through the bigs. And it really helps just kind of seeing the coach really has belief in you, the way you want to play, and kind of just having those conversations with him.
Carolina's known for having a lot of good bigs, but not a lot of good shooting bigs. You actually have a pretty good touch from the outside. Has Hubert had to take a half a step back and be like, I could let the 7-footer shoot it, or?
No, actually, that was one of the big things. I remember when I was getting recruited, they were always talking about it, that they wanted me to shoot. And in practice, when I Big May always telling me to hunt threes. Shoot at least like 3 a practice. That's been one of the big things I have talked with him.
All right, so you know the Duke rivalry, right?
Obviously.
I was gonna say that's pretty.
It's international.
It's international. You know anything about NC State?
I didn't know much about the rivalry, but I'm getting the hint of it.
Like,
Definitely feeling how people feel about
I
it.
was gonna say, has it been expressed to you that we can't stand those guys?
Yes, it's
right?
been expressed very well.
Okay. Hey, I was just curious, like you're completely new to that, so I'm always curious when somebody new comes to the triangle. And like that's why we were so taken aback by Caleb Wilson, right? So Caleb Wilson has a viral clip a couple of weeks ago where he's like,
belt.
he's going for the belt. We're coming after Duke. We're coming after State. We're coming after Wake. We're like,
he was name dropping. He was in on it.
All
man.
right, so he's in on that. So you got your education, is what you're telling me. Okay.
We got to back him up. Now we got to just make it happen.
So we've developed a little bit of a infatuation with Caleb Wilson because he's very, very good on camera, very, very good on mic. Is he like that behind the scenes too?
No, yeah, he's definitely like that.
He's just that guy?
When you see him on the camera, that's the way he is in real life.
Okay.
Like, behind the cameras as well.
I was gonna say my concern is he has such a great personality. Please tell me he's a good player.
He's a
Because
great player.
I
a
want
really
to
good
see
player.
that personality keep going.
Nah, he's a very good player. I was really impressed by him when he got there on campus. Like, I thought he was going to be one of those 5-star guys trying to get the shots up and just play and, like, not the smartest the way he plays. But the way he can actually pass the ball and push the ball, like sometimes he will get the rebound, push the ball, and look at over the top to the big where he's running, and I'm like, is he 6'10" or like 6 foot? Is he the guard or is that the power forward?
Love it. Henry Veesar.
Veesar.
Not Veesar. Veesar, right? Got it. Gonna nail it. Hey, Henry, appreciate the time, man.
Of course.
I've got your NC Grill Rescue of the week, by the way. NCGrillRescue.com.
Okay.
Our NC Grill Rescue is going to be every time I have to pronounce Henry Veesar. Veesar.
There it is.
Veesar.
Like a kiss.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just not like the Spaniards with the B.
Again, I'm just
The V's
thinking,
are not B's.
I'm just thinking Henry was probably spitting game with. Yeah, no, it's Henry Veesar. I'm just saying. That sounds like a thing.
I thought you were onto something there. I'm
Who
not gonna lie
knows?
to you.
Anyway, that is your
Look
NC.
at us like bridging cultural gaps. and great moments in OG history.
No need to bury your barbecue. Call NC Grill Rescue. And now it's time for your NC Grill Rescue of the week.
So Eric messaged me over at ncgrillrescue.com, and he's like, it's that time. And he showed me the Northbrook pool.
Oh, man.
Setting up at Northbrook Pool. Another pool season has come to a close, and he's getting those grills squeaky clean. Maybe you find yourself in the same situation. Maybe you are part of your pool board, and you're like, man, we got these grills. They're not in great shape. Well, we know somebody who can help you out on that. ncgrillrescue.com. Again, that's ncgrillrescue.com.
My grill rescue goes to the Cincinnati Bengals for trading for Joe Flacco,
Dude,
who apparently is going to play for every team in the AFC North. We just need to get into the Steelers now.
I mean, I guess the Panthers already have their Joe Flacco and Andy Dalton, so you don't need to do that. But yeah, man, I'm just impressed that the Bengals got. I'm sorry, the Browns. The Browns got any value back. They actually got a 5th round pick.
Hey, man,
I was surprised by that. But hey, man, props to you. Props to you. Big thanks to Bloom & Blinds. We're talking about cleaning up and getting those grills up and running. Same thing with Bloom & Blinds. I know we talk a lot about getting a new shade, new blinds, automation, you name it, blackout curtains. You might have broken blinds. They can fix that for you.
Yeah.
So hit them up, 919-980-9815, bloominblinds.com. They bring you the After Darks, which our last one was a spectacle of epic proportions. Obviously, we will have more as the football season continues. So, again, that's bloominblinds.com, 919-980-9815. Big thanks to the Butcher's Market. Check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. We got the Canes coming back. There's a Butcher's Market there in Lake Bloom Shopping Center. You're thinking about doing some tailgating? Just grab a sandwich and go. I mean, in, out, you're ready to go. So, check them out, thebutchersmarkets.com. And as we discussed with our guy, Seth Trimble,
Ice cream brings us all together.
We found some common ground there.
Ice cream brings us all together. But y'all know us. Our heart is with two roosters. Our heart is with two roosters. Plus, we're a corporate champion. But our hearts with two roosters. So check them out, tworoosters.com. It is October, new month, new flavors. You can find it all online. And with the Canes being back, the Slavin Sunday is back, along with some little hockey puck goodies, too.
Still the best deal in the arena.
So check them out online at tworoosters.com. Again, that's tworoosters.com. Hanging out with us at ACC Tipoff, Mitch Northam, women's basketball podcast on our YouTube channel and SB Nation. Mitch, what up, man?
Not much. I think a lot of those videos are actually up on our YouTube channel now, thanks to Dimitri.
I saw those videos are up on the YouTube channel, so go check that out.
Yeah.
You got the Field of 68 treatment. You got your own little spot up there, man.
I did have my own little spot, and then Field of 68 kind of moved in this afternoon, and my spot got a little smaller, but luckily I was done with my interview, so it was all good.
They got to make room for two really large dudes, John Henson and Tyler Hansbrough. So,
indeed.
So that kind of factors in.
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, ACC Tipoff is now a 3-day event where they blend the women's basketball side and the men's basketball side on our little changeover Tuesday here. And you were here yesterday and today, and I know you asked Jim Phillips, ACC Commissioner, about the fact that the women's tournament it ain't going to be here.
Right.
It's kind of weird. So this is where the jumping off point will be. It feels like women's basketball once again has hit another kind of inflection point of where are we going with this? And I thought it was interesting the way that Phillips said, we're betting on this working in the Atlanta area. That's a big bet with women's basketball. It's been in Greensboro forever.
It is. I think I get both sides of it. The people that say, it should be in Greensboro for forever. He talked about all the attendance numbers in there, right?
Yes.
70,000, 10,000 per session, the most of any Power 4 conference last year. But I think if there was a time to try it, to take it somewhere else and see if there is a bigger audience somewhere else or the same audience, now is the time where you can take that gamble, I think, with women's basketball. So, yeah, we're going to be in Duluth, Georgia, which is just outside of Atlanta, Gwinnett County, this year at Gas South Arena. It is a place that has hosted, I think, like SEC gymnastics before. It's also been the home of Atlanta Dream at a time before. It's hosted some other college events. I think this by far might be kind of the biggest, longest running thing they've sort of hosted there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. And then next year it's here in Charlotte in 2027. And then beyond that, TBD. I know that, in kind of looking, before they decided on Atlanta, ultimately, they did look at some other cities. I was told Baltimore was in the mix. Tampa was in the mix. They looked at D.C., but the only arena they could get in D.C. was where the Mystics play, which is very, very small. I think it's maybe sits 5,000 people. It's funny. I asked Wes Moore yesterday about his thoughts, moving the tournament. Obviously, he would like to see it stay in Greensboro. And I was like, well, if you want to make a pitch for a future ACC tournament site, how about Raleigh? He got a good chuckle out of that. So,
all right, to the triangle. Let's actually start with Duke, because I think Kara Lawson's bringing back. I mean, everything's coming up Kara Lawson this year, is it not?
Yeah, and she was pretty good, in the interview that I did with her yesterday, which was on our YouTube channel. But yeah, I really think that the ACC title this year is going to run through the triangle. I think all three of those teams are going to be the top three teams in the league. I think that all three of them will host NCAA tournament games again in the opening round. There was a time in the ACC, when I first started covering it, where women's basketball really kind of ran through two former Big East schools in Louisville and Notre Dame.
Yes.
And I think the dynamic has shifted back to really the powers in the triangle. And yeah, Duke brings back the ACC Rookie of the Year.
So they were bringing back everybody?
They brought in a top 5 recruit who Kara is very high on, and Emily Skinner. They get 2 players who were injured last year back off the bench, in Riley Nelson and then Amari Robinson, 6'4" forward. So they get some size. They really have some good things going on. They did lose their ACC tournament MVP, Aluchi Okanawa, to the portal, who went to Maryland. Shout out to the former ACC Terps. But yeah, I think the Duke is going to be really, really good this year. That said, I was watching a little bit of ACC Network yesterday, and all three of those panelists, Debbie Antonelli, Kelly, and
Kelly Gramlich.
Yeah, the other one who escapes me. They all picked State to win the league.
Oh, interesting.
All three of them. So I thought that was interesting.
Why are they so high on State?
I think State's going to be up there. I think that.
But State's got some changes over the.
Yes,
that's kind of the bet right now.
Yes,
okay.
it's definitely a bet on like all the changes working out because
Okay.
you lose 2 first-round WNBA draft picks in Isaiah James and Tanai Rivers.
Right.
You lose the Swiss Army knife in Madison Hayes, but you bring back this 6'6" center in Tilda Trigger, who, when she came into the starting lineup last year, that's when their season kind of took a turn for the better. Zoe Brooks is a junior now. I think she is expected to kind of be the bus driver of this team. And then in July, a walking double-double, Camille Pierre, who averaged 20 and 10 in the SEC last season, fell into their laps. Kind of a loophole through the portal. If your listeners are familiar with how the quarterback from BYU, who got kicked off for sex, essentially, ended up at Tulane.
The sex quarterback, as I like to call him.
Kind of the same loophole is what brought Camille Pierre to NC State. She was essentially kicked off the team at Vanderbilt. We don't really know why in July, and she applied to a couple schools. State was one of them. She was admitted. Westmore, told me yesterday, they swung and missed on a lot of really good players in the portal, but he was like kind of a blessing in disguise because when Camille Pierre came about, I had some money. And so now you have it.
Are you surprised that Kara's the Olympic coach?
No.
Well, you called
You're
it
not.
last year.
I'm just saying. Look, I'm being slightly a hater here, but
Sure.
What has she done to be the Olympic coach?
I think that the reason I called it a year ago was because she was the only one that made sense to me, just because of how the Olympic team is typically set up, where
Does
usually,
Dawn not want to coach the Olympic team?
Well, she already did, and usually, so she did it in 2020, and pretty much throughout the entire women's Olympic team history, except for Gino, who did it twice. All of those coaches have done just one cycle.
Okay.
So like when you kind of take those coaches out of it, so that takes Gino out of it, that takes Dawn out of it. Some of your kind of elite coaches, I think time is
the crazy lady at LSU probably
I think time
doesn't
has
match
passed
everybody.
by Kim Mulkey and Vic Schaefer. And so you look at kind of who is available. All right, Cheryl Reeve is probably your best WNBA coach. She just did it. And now Kara, I think, is the one who had the most ties to Team USA. I mean, her first job in coaching was with Team USA as an assistant. She's the head coach of the 3-on-3 team in 2021. They win the gold. She's the lead assistant on the 2024 team that wins in Paris. So there's all that going on, and she played for Pat Summitt and all that, and she's at Duke now, and the Mike Krzyzewski thing. Oh, by the way, Nina King is on the USA basketball board.
It's like you're going Brian Windhorst here.
There's all these things that
now, why is that?
Kind of lined up and made sense to me as to why she would be the head coach. I think the other layer to this is in May, for the first time ever, Team USA on the women's side has a general manager, team director person, and that is Sue Bird. And Sue Bird played against and alongside Kara Lawson, and I think maybe wanted somebody of her ilk, of her generation in there. And you look at Kara, and she's coming off an ACC tournament title, coming off an Elite Eight appearance, and led the team to a gold in the AmeriCup this summer. And I think Kara is somebody who has an understanding of not only the talent in college, but the WNBA as well. So those were all the things, maybe there were other choices and maybe there were better choices, but just looking at the tea leaves, that's why it all kind of lined up for me that she would be the pick.
I got you. Let me transition over to the WNBA. I'm going to need you to explain on 5.
Give me a fire extinguisher for what's going on there.
So nobody likes the commish. What is happening right now?
It seems that way.
He said, or she said, with Caitlin Clark and the commish. Can you just explain? I'll fully admit I've been so wrapped up in dumping on Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And man, we're just caught up in all the local stuff that every so often I'll look up a headline, I'll see a headline or somebody on social media. Like I saw Lindsay Gibbs earlier, who covers women's sports as well. And Lindsay does an incredible job covering women's sport. Very, very plugged in. And she's just on it. When I'm logged into social media, I'm like, what the fuck is happening in the WNBA?
The star player going scorched earth.
What is happening,
Similarly to Belichick and Chapel Hill, it is very, very messy.
Oh, did they now? At least the TV will continue, unlike the Hulu docs. So,
Right.
like this is still happening.
We will still have the finals broadcast.
So best I can tell is there's an issue over money and how much the league is worth and what the players should be getting, and this seems to have spilled over.
Yes. So
Okay.
what has been looming over this whole season is their CBA negotiations coming up now.
Right. Yeah, now's the
and-
time to cash in, dude.
Yeah, and the deadline is October 31st. They ain't
Yeah.
gonna meet that deadline.
Okay.
Now the question is, are they gonna have a lockout? I don't know. It seems to me, this all started when basically in the end of the semifinals, Nafisa Collier got hurt on a play. You can question the officiating, whatever. Cheryl Reeve was ejected. There was this whole big mess. And essentially in her exit interview, Nafisa Collier just went, what's the Jay-Z Nas diss track? What's that called?
You got Ether.
Ether, yeah. I mean, went
Yeah.
Ether on, or hit him up on Kathy.
Oh, that
Engelbert.
would be Tupac.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Tupac. And just eviscerated her and let out all this stuff in the streets about, like, she said this to me about Caitlin Clark, and she said it was to triangulate this a little bit. She seemed to sort of come off like shit, just be happy.
I see.
When it comes to the players and what they're making
What they're
now
making
and
now,
the platform that you have, and the
Yeah.
players ain't trying to hear that.
No.
And they're trying to cash in and they're trying to get some more money. And,
As they should, yeah.
like, obviously, like, they're not going to be paid as much as the NBA players, right? But they want some more. They want some more piece of the pie, and I think they deserve a more piece of the pie. There's expansion teams coming in. They just signed another media rights agreement, all this stuff. The league is more popular than it's ever been.
Okay.
So I think the question now is, I think Nafisa Collier, oddly enough, went on a podcast hosted by Kamala Harris or something, and said something to the effect of,
Wait,
like,
she was on a podcast with Kamala, or
I'm something like that. I might have that wrong.
Okay.
She was talking to Kamala Harris in a public forum
Okay.
of some sort, and basically said that she ain't meeting with Kathy Engelbert. So I kind of wonder if push comes to shove, and if the players just say, if they just refuse to negotiate with Kathy, then if you're Adam Silver and the owners, you got a situation on your hands about, okay, how do we get the players to come to the table and negotiate and get the CBA done so we can get this ball rolling again next spring?
I'm going to float to you something that Bomani Jones was maybe joking about. I don't know. He was on with Dominique Foxworth last week, and they kind of touched on this. I only saw the social media clip of it. I had not listened to the podcast episode yet. But Bomani's point was, how about we get a team Caitlin Clark and a team Angel Reese? She gets her crew, and you go on a barnstorming tour. How much money does that make?
Well, I mean,
to illustrate the point that
Yeah.
it is, there are some stars in this
Yes.
league that generate some heat. You got to cash in on it.
Mhm.
So
I think if we have a lockout, like, that is certainly possible.
I guess OG Media, we can't do that. We don't have enough money for that.
Hey, come to Reynolds Coliseum. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing, there's a lot of people on social media that are like, well, like, Nafisa Collier, like, there's like a conflict of interest, people think, because she is a co-owner of Unrivaled, which is the 3-on-3 league.
Right.
But I don't really see that as like a direct competition to the WNBA. They're different games, they're different seasons, like. So it's very messy right now. I don't really know what's going to happen. I asked Lindsay last night. I was like, "Do you think we're going to have a lockout?" She said no, but I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
Mitch Northam, SB Nation, women's basketball podcast, which you can listen to and watch on our YouTube channel. Go check that out. Lots of great ACC tip-off content there. So I highly recommend you go check that out. Appreciate it, Mitch. We'll talk to you later, man.
It's been good.
Big thanks to Miller Lending and Gordon Miller. MillerLending.com/the-OG is our landing page. You can call them directly at 919-447-3377. I'm wondering if Jim Phillips, ACC commissioner, should call up Gordon and say, hey, man, it's time to refinance our television deals. It's time to refinance the SCORE Act. Big talk about the SCORE Act and all these things that are going on. You might need to refinance and consolidate some school debt. I don't know. Maybe there's a way to make it happen. I don't know. I'm talking.
Our people can get creative.
I'm talking some nonsense. Let's talk about some real things, and that is related to what Miller Lending can do for you, and that is consolidate debt on a personal level. Maybe you got some high credit card debt.
I know I'm certainly in some credit card debt now that we're in the middle of the travel hockey season.
It's that time.
Man, my credit card is smoking right now. So maybe you need to find yourself in a refinance mode at the end of the hockey season to consolidate that debt and use the equity in your home. These are the kinds of conversations you can have with Miller Lending. So check them out online at millerlending.com/the OG. You take that thing to close, you get a Raleigh Wine Shop gift basket. And I think Giglio, today and today only, he's literally going to give you the quarter zip off his back today. A game-worn ACC tip-off rollback.
You get a fresh one.
Fair enough. 919-447-3377. We're sitting here talking about your home. Well, folks, when's the last time you thought about your home insurance, your auto insurance? I get it. You probably thought you locked in a nice rate a long time ago. You haven't really thought about it. You don't know you could be saving money. Maybe you've had some customer service experience issues. Again, all this stuff starts with a conversation with our guy, Matt Davis, over at State Farm. InsureGarner.com, 919-779-8277. Again, that's InsureGarner.com, or call them directly at 919-779-8277. All we're asking you to do is have a conversation with Matt and the crew over there and see where they can save you money on your home and auto. And, of course, our friends at Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Check them out online at bugsbite.com. I'm still getting one more mosquito treatment because, as you know, we're in that funny time in October where, yeah, I get it. It's fall, but doesn't mean it's still not gross outside. You still deal with mosquitoes. We haven't had that freeze yet. No frost.
I need it because the ants got me earlier this week.
So that's why you were a little off yesterday. You know, on all that Benadryl.
I was cranked up on that, yeah.
Whew, boy. That explains a lot. Explains a lot about yesterday's show, to be honest with me. So check them out online, bugsbite.com. Again, that's bugsbite.com. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group microphone is the head coach at Pitt basketball, Jeff Capel. Thanks for dropping by, man.
Appreciate you guys, man. Always good being with you.
So, I didn't anticipate. We're going to talk Steelers here for a second. They're atop the division with Aaron Rodgers? I got to imagine Mike Tomlin is very, very hype about the state of things right now.
Yeah, we can score that ball now, man. We've gone through a few years where we struggled to put points on the board, and now they're putting points on the board. The defense after the first game is starting to play and take the ball away, and it's been fun.
But I know now is like, when do you get to like watch some football before you then have to like lock in?
Yeah, so I watch all the time, and I will go to some of the games until we start. Once we start playing, then I'm in shutdown mode. I mean, I'll watch when I can, but right now, man, every Sunday, because we're off on Sundays, every Sunday I'm in front of the TV, watching games.
Somebody made a smart schedule there.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was the coach.
Could be.
Yeah, perhaps. So where are you this season? I correct me if I'm wrong, but the impression that I get watching from the Triangle is that there are some, if you look at Ken Palm, you look at Bart Torvik, there's a particular idea of what you're going to be. Early in the season, you exceed those expectations, and then something kind of happens. Lose steam, maybe it's a regression. I don't know what it is. What, in your opinion, has been the thing that has kind of these hot starts that then kind of come back down to earth for your squads?
Yeah, well, I think if you look at us throughout my first 7 years, I think this past year fit with those other maybe 3 of those seasons.
Okay.
If you look at the last 3 years, the previous 2 were different in that we struggled early and then we were able to figure it out and find our way with really no expectations. Last year was the first time where perhaps there were expectations. We were really good in November and December. We were a top 25 team.
Yeah.
And then that's when we hit the adversity and we were not able to get up off the mat. Part of it had to do with an injury. Damian Dunn's injury was significant. It wasn't talked about because we didn't make excuses, but it was significant for a lot of different reasons. Number one, the main reason is he's a really, really good player. and was off to a heck of a year. When he got hurt, he was our second leading scorer, second in assists, led us in three-pointers made and three-point field goal percentage.
Yeah.
But he was also our best perimeter defender. And then he gave me, as the head coach, an opportunity to rest low or to rest legged, because I always had an older guard in there. When he went out, it shortened our rotation. We had no experience from any other guard besides Lowe and Leggett. And then I thought as the year went on, we just wore down. Cam Corn, who was a good player, for 2 years at Florida State for Coach Ham, he played 16 minutes a game and 18 minutes a game. We're asking him to play 28. That's a big difference.
Yeah.
And I thought he wore down as the season went on. And so last year I felt was like and we lost a lot of close games. Once we got to January and February, if you take out the Duke game, we were 3-0 in Durham. If you take out that game, SMU, and home against Virginia, every other game we played was a one-possession game.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't get over the hump. One-possession game lasts 4 minutes.
Sure.
We couldn't get over the hump, where in the previous 2 years, we won those games. And so we have to get back, man, to the toughness that we had the previous 2 years prior to last year, the collective toughness and just the grit. We just didn't have it last year, man, and that's on me.
Okay, so that was the other curiosity that I had. And Giglio always likes to remind me it's a year-to-year proposition when it comes to college basketball now. And I'm always curious from a coaching perspective, you recognize this. You're trying to build a roster every year. Is it dangerous to think, well, it didn't work last year, I have to completely change things, or it didn't get where I wanted to be, so I have to completely change things? How do you view incremental changes from, you know what, I got to change up everything that I'm doing right now?
Yes. No, it's a great question. And I think one of the big things is that you have to be honest with who you are as a coach and you know, to who you are as a program. Like for us, we're never going to be the most talented. We're just not. Like that's not who we're not going to out-talent Duke. We're not going to out-talent North Carolina. We're not going to out-talent now Louisville.
Sure.
You know,
they seem
the
to have gotten their
Bloods,
act together. So yeah.
And with the revenue share, like it's just, I mean, that's the reality. That's what we have to deal with.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we can't beat those teams. Like
Right.
We have beaten those teams, but you know, we have to understand who we are and who we are. What we have to get to win is we have to get guys that have incredible chips on their shoulders that feel like they have something to prove. You know, 3 years ago, we were coming off year 4 for me, and it was the worst season we had there.
Right.
And I wasn't sure when we got smoked by BC in the ACC tournament towards the last 5 minutes. I mean, honestly, I'm there like,
you thinking this might be it?
Is this my last game here?
Yeah.
And when I knew that I was okay, it immediately turned to, okay, how do we get this turned?
Okay.
Well, everyone thought, you know, no one had expectations for that team. We took a point guard from Colgate. We took a guy that was a 6th or 7th man from Marquette. We took a kid that had not played for 2 years at Iowa State. We took another kid that had signed with West Virginia that they didn't want, that they released him. And that turned out to be Nellie Cummings, Greg Elliott, Blake Henson, and Federico, and that team led us to the NCAA tournament. And so for us, you got to find the right pieces, the guys that are about what we're about, what the city's about, toughness, physicality, fighting, playing with an edge, playing with a chip on the shoulder. And again, I thought we had that last year, but it's crazy. We had one guy to go out, and it changed everything for us. And hopefully we have more guys like that on this year's team, that if we go through adversity, which I know we will, we can overcome it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is the point where I bring up 1995 because in the triangle, you are forever the guy from 1995, right? But you're my age. He's still a baby. So 75, born in 75, this year was a hard one for me to kind of like reconcile hitting that 50 number. How did you handle that, and what kind of perspective have you kind of maybe gained here in the last year?
It's really interesting, man, because I turned 50 in February, so it was during the season. So it didn't hit me then because I'm
Sure.
You were
in
too
survival
knee deep
mode.
into
Right,
it.
you're just trying
You know what I
to get
mean?
through,
Like
man.
we're getting our butts kicked. We're losing these close games.
Like, hey, babe, we'll
We're-
celebrate my birthday later.
Yeah. But it was after the season and after the portal and we have our roster when I finally, and that's when it hit me. And it really
Yeah.
hit me like, man, and it just gave me like, I don't know about you. Stuff doesn't bother me as much anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't have time for
Right.
BS.
40
Like,
bothered me more, I'll be honest.
40 didn't bother
But,
me.
but
This
seeing
was-
50 was like, it was
this
just
is
more.
just like, okay, you don't mess with me. All right, cool. Like I'm cool. Like if you don't want to rock with me, you don't think I'm all right,
Yeah.
cool. Like you think what you want to think. I don't have the time or energy. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. I
Yeah.
know what I want to be around. I know the type of energy I want around me.
That's freeing. Honestly.
It's freeing.
It's very freeing to just be comfortable
Yes.
with who you are. See, it's funny. He gets wrapped up in like these round numbers. See, that doesn't do it.
I
for
do.
me. I hit 50. That's whatever. You know what? Actually, I come to these things and I'm going, wait a minute. I remember when the Florida State coach played. Oh, wait a minute. Well, I mean, I already went through it with Shire. I'm like, well, yeah, man. I remember watching you guys win a national champion.
Well,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
now who Shire's going to coach?
Oh, now he's coaching Boozer's kids?
Yes,
Oh,
how about
no. Come on.
crazy.
That's what gets me.
Yeah.
That's what gets me. Is
No.
that we're at this weird point where you're seeing kids of or that you watched or guys that you watched play now coaching. And that's got to, I'm guessing that probably hits you a little bit too.
One of the craziest things for me,
Yeah.
if you ask me during my time as a head coach, the guy that I missed out on that I wanted that I didn't get, I will coach against him this year. Is Jay Lucas.
Oh, jeez.
When I was the head coach,
jeez.
yes. When I was the head coach at Oklahoma,
Yeah.
and I
He
felt
went
like
to
I
OK
had
State.
no, he went to Florida first.
Okay.
I felt like I had in the class a great big guy in Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
And I wanted
good.
he was pretty good. And I wanted to match him with an elite point guard.
Uh-huh.
And I loved Jay in high school. I mean, loved him.
Yeah.
There was no bigger fan. And it broke my heart. Like my daughter was born April 26th of 2008. And 2007. April 27th, I went and did a home visit with Jay Lucas.
Oh, man.
And I realized in that home visit, I have no chance.
wasn't coming
I've just
home.
wasted my time. And the crazy part about it, my wife was down in Durham last year. She's
Yeah.
on the Duke Medical Center board. And so she was there for a meeting, and she stopped by the basketball office to see the secretary, to see Jerry Brown and see LA, who we're still really, really close with. And it was the first time she met Jay. Jay came up and introduced herself. And Jay told her he wanted to come to Oklahoma. It's the biggest mistake that he made, and his dad wouldn't let him. And I'm coaching against him this year. Really? So that's going to mess me
But
up.
hold up. Before we, I get that part. But you're like, you said you showed up and you knew it wasn't happening.
I knew once I got there.
You get an idea.
When I got into the house,
Yeah.
I showed up for the home visit.
Yeah.
And when I got there, got to the house, when the parents weren't there, I knew.
Okay.
All right. And then the parents came in,
Yeah.
and they were great. They're great people. Not good people, great people.
Yeah.
And I still talk to them to this day. But all they wanted, let me see. I know you got pictures of the baby or whatever. It was not even about recruiting their kid.
I see.
And so that's when I realized, like,
gonna
this
say-
has been a waste.
That's why I was always curious because, you've been around the block, you know how this works. And I've
Yeah.
always wondered, well, how do you know? And
Yeah.
that makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah, so, Joe, we're all just old, man.
No,
we all get our
I've
reminders.
squared it. I'm just telling you, when you get to that, you got like 5 years or 4 years before you get there. You'll see.
So we'll get you out of here on this. ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips is talking about the SCORE Act and house settlements and NIL and all this other kind of stuff. And the big question is, with football and being fully invested, if the ACC wants to get back to how we talk about the ACC, well, there has to be a full commitment to basketball as well. And I do like the fact that we've got a new influx of coaches. I think it was time for a new influx of coaches. I think that's great. Be some interesting matchups and whatnot. What does that mean for you, though, at Pitt? Like, I know what it means at State. I know what it means at Duke. I know what it means at Carolina. What does it mean at Pitt now?
Yeah, I mean, we're still trying to get there.
Okay.
Look, we have a new athletic director.
Right.
And I'm grateful for him and the people that he's hired for making a bigger investment than we've had. But other teams have made investments as well
Yeah.
that were already ahead of us.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. I don't want to make it seem like I'm not grateful, but if we're dealing in reality, like this is the reality of everything too. And so I just think in order to have sustained success going forward, there has to be alignment, university level, athletic department with the programs.
Yeah.
And you may not like it. I'm not saying I like it, but the team, like I saw a stat in football, and I don't know if this still stands in college football. This was maybe a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
That the teams that paid them or had the highest, but in the top 16, they were all undefeated at that time.
At that time, right.
I don't think that's a coincidence.
Well, there's one missing.
Yeah. Yes. Let's not go there. That's
You don't love them. You have no love for them. We don't need to say.
Hey, I love
That's
everybody, man. I love everybody. When I turn 50, I love everybody.
Coach
man.
Capel hits 50. He's unbothered now. Hey, man,
I'm
it's
unbothered,
all
man.
good.
None of that
It's
stuff
all
matters
good.
to me anymore.
Jeff Capel, head coach. Hey, man, we appreciate the time as
Appreciate
always.
you guys.
Good luck this season.
All right.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for day one of ACC Tipoff. We will be back tomorrow. We'll have conversations we're scheduled to talk to Caleb Foster and John Shire at Duke. We're scheduled to talk to then Alan Lubin. And that'll be a little interesting back and forth after our conversation with Seth Trimble today. That's kind of funny. We'll also schedule to talk to Steve Forbes. See, a new one.
You almost made it. You almost made it.
A new one. Amazing.
All that UNC baseball that you take in.
You know me, man. You know me. You know me. I have not stopped watching ACC baseball.
Poor Trey yesterday. The other Joe Giglio has to be just absolutely unloading on him today after they had he made the last out with runners in scoring position and a chance to give the Phillies a much needed win over the Dodgers in Game 2 of the NLDS yesterday. Instead, it looks very much like just like the Florida Panthers played with their food until the playoffs started. I think that's what the Dodgers did. It might just be written in the stars, Joe.
Okay.
Unfortunate for our guy Trey Turner. Unfortunate for all of those tickets I have on the Phillies to win both the National League and the World Series.
Sorry to hear it, man. Sorry to hear it. You sent me this. I feel like this is a segment we can only do at events like ACC Tip-Off and ACC Kickoff, and that is what's happening outside this bubble.
Okay.
Because for those who don't know, once you go and work an event like this, what ends up happening is you just are like locked in. You're talking to people. My phone's kind of away. I'm editing things on the fly. I haven't had a lot of time to just like see what's going on, right? So I almost feel like we should call like what's happening outside the ACC basketball bubble today.
Okay.
And I felt like this was probably a good way to do this because you sent me this clip of Scooter Braun,
who I do not know who that is.
So Scooter Braun, Big Machine Records, he was the one who was in a fight over the masters to Taylor Swift's entire catalog.
Okay.
That she eventually won back earlier this year.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, and by the way, there was a handful of you.
You don't want to play that clip too?
No. Well,
I think they play the song though.
No, right. So here's the thing. Some of you were a little annoyed or something. I don't know what it was for a brief moment where we discussed the Taylor Swift song Wood and Travis Kelce, right? I mean, it was just a little throwaway thing. And I'm surprised. Again, it wasn't a lot of people.
There's some pearl clutching.
But it wasn't even pearl clutching. To me, it was just small dick energy, for being honest. Like, y'all, have a little fun, man.
Yeah.
That's all. No big deal. Anyway, speaking of Taylor Swift, she revealed why she is not performing at the Super Bowl. Which, by the way, since I'm driving you back, you're getting a Bad Bunny crash course on the
Okay.
drive back.
That's
I
fine.
hope you're ready.
I sent you the Bad Bunny thing from when he did the WWE thing in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
That thing was crazy.
I'm
that
glad
crowd response was they call that a pop.
I'm glad
that was some kind of pop.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think people don't realize just how big of a star Bad Bunny is beyond just the music aspect of it. He has dabbled with the WWE, and as you said, he gets a huge pop. But on Monday, Swift appeared on the Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and Swift was asked why she was not going to be at the Super Bowl. And she says, Jay-Z has always been very, very good to me. Our business teams are really close. They sometimes will call and say, how does she feel about something? And it's not like an official offer, just a conference room conversation. And we're always able to tell them the truth, which is that I'm in love with a guy who does that sport on the actual field.
Mm-hmm.
And that's ultimately why she wasn't necessarily interested in doing that. So she says, it's a high pressure, high intensity sport. And I'm like, I wonder what my choreo should be. I think we should do 2 verses of Shake It Off into Blank Space into Cruel Summer. That would be great. This has nothing to do with Travis. He would love it for me to do it. I'm just too locked in. She's too locked in with football, and she's too locked in with, she wants to like do one or the other, is what she's saying.
Okay.
Which is fine.
I mean, he's going to retire soon anyway, so
maybe she'll do it next year.
There you go.
Now, you brought up Scooter Braun. So, sorry, I got distracted there.
Yeah.
So you sent me this Scooter Braun shares advice from Barry Gordy. And when it comes to the music industry, we're talking about some characters that I don't even know, like, should we be taking their advice? But I was curious why you sent this to me.
All right.
Why'd you send it to me?
There's some great life advice in there.
Let's hear it.
Is a kid from Detroit. Before Barry Gordy, Black musicians would make incredible music, and a white person could come along and just cover it and make it theirs. And Barry Gordy took that back and gave us Motown Records and changed the entire music industry. And
What's this us stuff, Scooter? What do you mean us?
You either have to play the clip or you don't.
Okay.
I was at a dinner, and Barry Gordy was placed next to me. And I was just like freaking out. Barry Gordy sitting next to me. And we start talking. He said, I'm going to tell you a story, and you're going to need it one day. And boy, was he right. And he said, do you know what the Motown 25 was? And I said, absolutely. It was the first time Michael Jackson did the moonwalk, Diana Ross. And he's like, oh, you really are a Motown fan. I was like, yeah. And he said, well, do you know I didn't want to go? I said, what? He goes, yeah, I didn't want to go. At the time, Michael had left for CBS Records, Diana had left for CBS Records, and everyone was saying that I took their publishing, and I was like the bad guy for all these people that I had supported and lifted, and like I was so angry, and I didn't want to go. I said, well, what changed? He goes, my family made me go. And I said, yeah, because I remember you were in the balcony and I kept cutting to you. And he goes, the first I get there and Diana Ross is hosting, Michael's going to perform. He's the biggest thing in the world. I'm mad. But as the night went on, I suddenly realized little Barry from Detroit would have lost his mind knowing this was coming. He said, young man, it will never end the way you want it to, but it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Oh, I see. I was waiting for the payoff because we're sitting here running the greatest intro in all music.
Yeah, Papa was a Rolling Stone.
With the Temptations. I mean, the greatest intro in all of music, okay?
Never ends how you want it to.
So
you can't write your own ending, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
It better be worth getting flagged on YouTube. What's the payoff here? What's the payoff? I see what he's saying. Also interesting that he was like, yeah, really relating with this guy about all the publishing rights.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder why the artist
So
don't like
I don't know how that ended up on my thing, but when I saw it, I was like, oh, because I say that all the time. No, you don't get to write your own ending.
Yeah.
You don't.
Speaking of writing your own endings, we got Decision 2, Electric Boogaloo from LeBron James.
Okay.
LeBron James' big decision number 2 turns out to be an ad campaign.
Gross. Gross.
I guess he's doing something with Hennessy. This fall, I'm going to be taking my talents to Hennessy VSOP. My dad doesn't drink that. He's more of a Remy Martin guy. And an XO guy at that. James said in the clip, even though wording he used in that announcement mirrored how he had announced 15 years ago. Oh, that was 15 years ago? Okay.
Oh, boy.
I've already felt old.
Yeah, you were already feeling some kind of way about being the oldest people here.
So we started the show with Luke talking about how we're the old men. We're going to end that way. We'll see you tomorrow at ACC Tipoff.